Hello, good morning my friends, and welcome to today's garden update video. I can't wait to show you the things I've been working on over the last few weeks, I guess, mostly in the last week. And I will say it ended up taking several days to film this because we had some bad weather situations and I didn't get as far as I wanted to because, if you can see, do you see my breath? It froze last night. It's actually frozen every night the last 3 nights. That's right. Which is awesome. So I've had to cover the plants that I did plant and didn't even get to finish everything that I was putting in the garden boxes because of the freeze warnings. But I'll show you how they survived, don't worry. And we had a whole greenhouse situation as well. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's move to the gardening footage now. Welcome to the greenhouse. And if you guys didn't see my last garden video on the greenhouse, where I got it, how much it was, that sort of thing, I will leave that video up above and down below for you so you can go check that out. And today I'm basically getting started on transplanting my tomatoes and peppers. I didn't have the greenhouse early enough to grow my own from seed this year, but I was so excited to find a local kind of like farm slash nursery. It's basically just a lady who has a ton of greenhouses on her property and grows everything from seeds and then sells all of the starts from her place. So I have these massive tomato and pepper plants in all of these fun varieties. They were only $3 a plant, which is the same price as Walmart, and I get to support local instead of a big box store like Walmart with varieties that don't necessarily do well in my climate. So I was so happy to be able to find her location. She was so nice and friendly. She does cash or Venmo or card or whatever it is that you wanted. She had so many varieties of tomatoes and peppers, things I'd never even heard of before. So as they get bigger and producing fruit, I'll be excited to kind of show you what everything looks like. I have a couple of heirloom tomatoes that I'm excited about. I have, I think, 1 or 2 cherry tomato ones, a beefsteak, like big slicer one before. So fingers crossed that all of these do well. I think I ended up with 9 tomato plants. I really hope I can do okay with my tomatoes. I've never had success with tomatoes before, like not really. I'll grow a couple, but not the quantity that I've seen other people do. So my plan is to keep half of the tomatoes in these pots in the greenhouse. I want to see how they grow in the greenhouse the whole season. It'll be really, really warm in there, and my area doesn't get super warm, so I'm excited about that. And then the other half are going to be out in the raised garden bed with the walls of water, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. Oh, I hope I recorded that actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I maybe did not get footage of the walls of water. Okay, we'll have to see when we get there. So I went ahead and caged all of these. I gave them some fertilizer and then moved outside to plant my remaining 4 tomato plants. And I wasn't worried about planting them outside. I've heard from my neighbors that if you put walls of water around them, which is basically a plastic hoopy thing that you fill each tube with water, and it kind of covers the tomato and creates a mini greenhouse. So the sun will heat all of the water during the day, and then the heat will dissipate towards the tomato plant at night and keep them warm with our cool nights. So around here, they're really, really popular, and I will say fairly expensive, but my stepmom had a bunch in her garage. She didn't need them, and so she offered them to me. So I have a bunch that they were given to me, which is amazing because they are pricey. But if you guys live in a cold climate and you want to check them out, I'll see if I can find them online and link them down below for you so you can kind of see what they're all about. But a lot of my neighbors use them, and they say they plant their tomatoes sometimes even into March, use the walls of water, and they do great. In fact, my sister-in-law, her in-laws, they're not my in-laws, okay, Dave's sister's in-laws live actually very close to me, and they keep up their walls of water the whole season. Even when the tomato plant grows higher than those, they just leave them up the whole time. And so I'm interested to see how that's going to work. And I ended up writing on the wood the variety of tomato plant these are, because I knew my kids were going to get in and take out my labels, like my plant labels. They always do that. They just like pull them out and play with them. And then I don't know what the heck I have. So I figured writing in Sharpie on the wood, I won't like not see what they are anymore. So you can kind of see at the top of this screen, the walls of water. David helped me fill. It's like kind of like a green circular thing. And I had a bunch of dirt still that I hadn't planted anything in. I decided to start a couple of seeds in these pots and put them in the greenhouse. And this is before I went, I think it was at Walmart, and I found another seed planting container. My Walmart, actually most of my stores have been really, really low on seeds and garden stuff. I guess with the whole quarantine thing, everyone's wanting to grow their own food now, which I think is an amazing goal to learn and try and do. So all of these, I believe, are cucumbers and green beans, and I am going to be transplanting them out into the main garden as they get bigger. So basically just a starter thing. I think I did 1 or 2 seeds per pot. I can't remember now. But in that greenhouse is so warm. I'm really hopeful that all of my seeds will come up fairly quickly, like in the next week or so. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that I don't kill anything. I don't have a green thumb necessarily, but I'm hoping I can learn how to get one. Hey friends, it is day 2 of my garden update, and I can't really record outside today because I have a mega windstorm, like 40-mile-an-hour winds. There's dust blowing all over my entire town, blowing off of the potato fields. I don't think we're gonna go outside, but what I am gonna show you is the indoor planting of some of my seeds that, because of the greenhouse, I am going to plant them in here and then put them in the greenhouse, even though I can't technically plant outside for about 4 weeks. We're gonna get started on my cucumbers, which is one of my favorite things to do, and then I pickle them, a couple cabbages, and several varieties of green beans. And I'm using popsicle sticks as my markers so I know what they are. So let me get some water to fill these up and we'll get going. Does anyone else find it oddly satisfying when these poof up nice and tall? It's growing. I just think they're so funny. They're so weird, right? They're growing. They're so funny. I just think they're hilarious. I just hope that they actually stay down in the dirt instead of getting stuck to my finger and pulling back out right away.
They do look like mustard seeds.
I thought mustard seeds were yellow.
Yes, but I'm just saying they're about the same size.
Yeah, cabbage seeds. Teeny, right? So here's something I've noticed as I've gardened a little bit, is I don't use the whole packet, right? I've been able to reuse seeds from year to year and have them still grow. So if you keep your seeds, you know what I'm saying? You can continue to use them. That's what I'm saying. What's this one? I wrote it on there and I don't remember what I wrote.
It's early bird, early spring.
Early spring, this one. Cucumber.
Cucumber.
Early spring cucumber. Harvested in just 52 days. So, beginning of July. In theory, we'll see. It just really depends on how warm they get, right? I want to know, well, I want Dave's opinion too, but I want the people watching to make bets in the greenhouse outside, which is super warm. How long will it take for these seeds to come up?
I don't have a guess. Let's say 6 days.
6 days? That's pretty quick. You know, if it stays warm in there, you could be right. We planted a zucchini, do you remember, in our garden box? And it was like bigger than me in 4 weeks. Do you remember? Because it was so hot. What's this one? The other green bean or the other cucumber? Today's wind is like really sucky.
It's like gusting to like 50 miles an hour out there.
It's so windy. Did you see the whole town is covered in dust from the farm fields? It is just blowing dirt everywhere. It's kind of awful. I'm really excited to be able to have the greenhouse and put these out in the greenhouse because our house is never warm enough and it doesn't get enough sun.
Agreed.
Yeah. Dave likes the house at like 67 degrees.
It's not true.
Sure feels that way. And I'm cold all the time. What's this one? Burgundy. Check this green bean out that I'm planting. Can you call it a green bean? No. A purple bean. How cool is that? I wanted to try some other stuff this year. My green beans have done really well the last 2 years. Pretty happy with them.
Let's take a look at those seeds.
They're pretty big. I've heard that if you soak green beans for a couple hours before you plant them, they'll sprout faster, right? Because it cracks open the hard cover. But I feel like my little starting pots are fairly moist. So it's okay to use that word in reference to dirt?
Damp?
Yeah. yeah, you could go with damp, is this one. And then check this one out. I also got these yellow ones. I thought that would be super fun. Top notch golden. Love it. Okay, that is all of the footage that I have right now, but I am gonna take you through a quick like little thing and kind of show you what I have so far and what I'm planning on doing either today or tomorrow. I meant to get this video out several days ago, but I just couldn't finish everything. Sometimes the weather does not cooperate. First of all, here is our completed picnic table. We got both sides done. This is actually ice on here. This is not water because it legit frosted this morning. Very, very cold. How awesome is this? We've already used it a few times. We love it. And this piece tilts this way. They both do. So they can also turn into like a bench as well if we chose to do that. We just have not done that yet. And I'm about to walk through the grass that Andrew just mowed yesterday. So goodbye clean feet. Dave tilled up and mixed up these rows for later planting. This is a lot of the stuff that's still in the greenhouse. The seeds you just saw me plant, that's all going here. So this is all gonna be cucumbers, green beans, cabbage, and we'll see how much room I have after that. These sticky things back here, those are grapevines. I have 2 apple trees over here. They've already started to bud out a little bit, so excited about that. But this dirt will just look like this until I transplant everything in June. Over here's the raspberry patch. We ripped out a lot of old dead stuff. We're trying to clean up the grass that always grows in here. I did see some of the raspberry canes are starting to get leaves on them, so they're getting started. It usually looks very ugly most of the year when they're like no leaves and no fruit or anything, but give it a few weeks and there'll be bees all in here and flowers, and it'll be scary to go in after 10 a.m. My tomatoes, I don't think we should take this off yet, Andrew.
Yeah, it's still kind of
It's still a little chilly this morning, but we covered it with a tarp. Not worried about it. You guys saw the walls of water that keep them protected. Even when it is cold at night, creates a little mini greenhouse effect. Here, my peas are actually doing really well. Peas just love the cold weather. Totally okay. I have not seen my lettuce really come up yet. I have some clover in here I need to pick out. And the greenhouse is actually really full. It's not warm in here right now, but it's not as cold as it is outside. Some of my green beans over here got a little wind burnt during the windstorm. Even though they were inside, their leaves are a little crunched up, which is very sad. Here's all the seeds I just planted. And my bell pepper transplants here and over there have not put outside yet. It just hasn't been warm enough. My tomatoes look pretty happy. They look all right. And then these green beans I'm actually gonna plant out in those rows I just showed you in about 4 weeks. So these should be fairly large by the time we get to that point. I didn't plant, oh, and I planted seeds here too. You guys saw that earlier in the video. Waiting for those to come up as well. That, I think, is gonna wrap up the garden video. And I'm chilly and I wanna go back inside. It should be nice later today. Hopefully I'll have another garden video update for you in a couple weeks where things are growing and it's like more exciting. But thank you so much for joining me in today's video. If you guys are digging the garden updates, give the video a like and subscribe if you want to see any future stuff. I loved hanging out with you and I'll see you in the next video.